I mean, I think what we're facing now, literally a scam documentary a month from all these different scams, is we're seeing the end result of capitalism in all its negativity,
Yes.
which is that it just gamifies earning. So
Yeah.
we're not 150 years ago where we had capitalism. And again, I'm not saying even this, I'm just saying this is what people could say if they wanted to defend capitalism. You don't have capitalism creating a car and then making the car better and all these other innovations. You have people just gaming the system through all these shadow plays to make money, and there's no positivity to the working class. There's no positivity to innovation. Like, Elon Musk isn't capitalism. He's the outlier. He's someone that just wants to make an electric car for some reason, and he's probably motivated by money. So that's like one person kind of being motivated to make the world better through capitalism. But the other 98% of capitalists are just people going like, how can I just shuffle this, pass this, sell this, it's not really there, and then just move to Tahiti when I'm 48 and never have to look back. Like, that's all it's become. It's just become gamified. It doesn't help anybody.
I'd argue that you don't even get a car from capitalism.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd argue you get seat warmers from capitalism. You might get a new cup holder design. But to create something so new, it takes a lot of freaking investment. If it's, so hard to just like survive as an individual, feed yourself, etc. Even if you get a nice job, then they want, 60 hours a week or whatever. So, and it's just technology is so sophisticated that the guy in the myth of the, guy tinkering in his garage inventor, we're kind of over that stage. Like, that's not really, innovation it takes labs, it takes groups of people, it takes engineers with a budget, it takes some meeting of the minds, and meeting of the minds with people that have some funding, and a lot of those a lot of those key technologies that made the 20th century so cool, it come from government funding,
100%.
or at least like initially all that like fundamental initial like discovery stuff has to come. And maybe with the tax structure or whatever, you could incentivize companies to invest in their own R&D. But like companies aren't doing R&D anymore. The government's not doing R&D anymore.
But
we're skating along for a little bit. But like, that's why. Would we have flying cars now? No. What people didn't predict was that you just cut.
But that's the thing. That's why
like the pace of innovation was not going to keep up because we just decided to pocket the money.
But it's like you said,
instead of
R&D. Reinvesting it.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's the issue of like a low marginal tax rate and why we should raise it, because that's the point. Is that's what works well, is that the government goes, all right, we will essentially subsidize all your R&D with the kind of through tax. The presumption is we subsidize it now, you make something out of it, and when you become a billionaire company, you essentially pay all that back money you owe through our subsidized R&D through a higher tax rate. And then they go, but how about we don't do that? And the government goes, all right, that's fine. And then it's like you said, it's like, well, now the cycle's broken. So now we're kind of facing a stopgap.
Yeah. Well, it's super weird. I mean, I've got a whole, a whole diagram built on this thing, but it's like I see it on every industry. It's in the hard sciences, where companies don't even with the Theranos thing, like they don't they're not doing a lot of that R&D stuff, that initial research stuff. They have the attitude of, oh no, we'll just acquire something, we're just going to acquire a startup, we're going to like push that investment on someone else. Companies don't. I see it in education. Companies don't train. No, you go out and get a degree. You go get into invest those years and years of training or whatever. And
then with the promise of like, you'll earn more with us when you're done with it.
Maybe if we decide to hire, entry level is just $1 over minimum wage. Like, that's reasonable, right? So, so they expect on an individual level, we're expected to take on investment that, companies or corporation would do at some point. R&D, it's happening there, and in entertainment as well. It's like they don't buy a pilot anymore. They used to just buy scripts and then produce a pilot and then decide what shows to make. Now it's like, have a YouTube series.
Yeah, get a YouTube following, and then we'll let you
spend hundreds and hundreds of hours, and it's not. The upside is that, you know, things get greenlit that likely wouldn't have. We have voices and stories that we wouldn't have if it was just that old, more narrow pipeline. But it's just like a trend that I see everywhere, where it's putting more and more of the, you know, more and more in the investment of either money or time has to be on some individual before it's like, oh, well, maybe we'll let you have success instead
Yeah.
of any institutionalized.
And I think,
like,
I mean, I think we could talk about this
investment.
for like a long time because I think there's
Yeah,
like a
I
lot of
don't think it's that
pauses and
funny.